All right, I'm back. I'm recording these live. I enjoy recording them live. It helps me make fewer mistakes. Um, my hometown, Grifton, North Carolina, where I grew up, has a spring festival. All the small towns in eastern North Carolina have their own little spring and fall festivals. So Grifton has what's called the Shad Festival. Now, shad's a fish that swims up in the creeks during the spring, and I remember going shad fishing when I was a child. We put the boat in at Gaskin's Landing and go out with a shad net, and you basically took the shad net and dipped the shad out of the water. You could catch them on a spinner bait too, but you could net them. And I remember that there was one year that the shad were running heavy. I think you could walk across the shad on the creek. There were so many in there, you could walk across and not even get your feet wet. So anyway, I'm going to tell you a story, a Beagle Book Club story about the day Jasper came home. Now, if you're new to Beagle Book Club, it's an imaginary world where the dogs talk and they interact with people and they do all kinds of interesting stuff. So it's completely imaginary. You know, everybody knows that dogs can't really talk. Well, most of them can't, but these can. And they read books and they teach classes and they have a good time. So this is a story that was written for the Grifton Shad Festival for Beagle Book Club, my hometown. So it's titled The Day Jasper Came Home by me, Todd Edwards. If you were in downtown Grifton that day, right there by the old train station, you might have thought it was just a festival. Food cooking, music playing, folks laughing. But something more was happening, something you don't see every day. The pups from Cedar Hollow had set up by the train station. They were visiting with the community and they were waiting on someone important, their cousin Jasper. He was coming all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio. Andy leaned against the rail. Do you think he's really coming? Lucinda nodded. Oh, he's coming. He took a long road to get here, but he's coming. So before long, folks started to gather, and fans started realizing that these were the Cedar Hollow pups. They're sort of famous. So Lucinda decided she needed to start entertaining the crowd. TikTok just said my microphone's too close. So Lucinda stepped forward and said, "Let me tell you all about Jasper," she said. The crowd quietened. He was born at Cedar Hollow from a line of champions, she began. Raised right, strong nose, sharp mind. Mandy smiled. He became one of the leaders in rabbit study teachers in Ohio. Lucinda nodded. Yes, he did. Then her tone shifted, but somewhere along the way, he lost his footing. The crowd leaned in. People, for some reason, love a bad story. You tell them something good about you, and they listen a little bit. But you tell somebody something bad, they remember it forever. He took off his champion collar, she said softly, and went running with the wrong crowd. Chaos kind of tilted his head. What do you mean, cats? Lucinda gave him a look back. Yes, cats. A few folks chuckled. Some even say, she continued, he got into catnip. The crowd laughed. And there were also rumors, she said, about Paul Finder and maybe even an Only Paul's account, but nobody really knows. Chaos blinked. What's Only? And then his sister Princess cut him off. Not now, Chaos. Lucinda smiled gently, but with the hard work and guidance of their um, preacher, Pastor Shepherd, who's a German shepherd, just happens to be clergy. She paused. He found his way back. The crowd softened. He's coming to Cedar Hollow, she said. And my page just refreshed and my notes went away. And I can't completely tell it by memory, I don't think. But you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. Lucinda was telling the story about Jasper coming in when, like I said, people started recognizing him more and more. So Andy, Mandy, and Princess went and set up over in the corner and started signing autographs for the people. Now see a paw graph, they stamp each card with their footprint and a meaning. Well, Chaos, he was too rambunctious for that. He took little Molly, their little cousin, and they were playing ball out in the grass. That's when it happened. A woman came running up to the station area, frantic, tears in her eyes. I can't find my son, she cried. He's gone. He just wandered off. I can't find him in this crowd. Her name was Julie. Her little boy's name, Timmy. He was 5 years old. So the Grifton police were already stepping in and getting a description. The crowd shifted, concern spread. Chaos and Molly were right there when it was happening. Chaos froze and looked at Molly. They looked at each other and then they moved. Chaos ran straight towards the police chief, nearly tripping over his own ears. Wait, he barked, wait, we can help. He pointed back. My cousin Molly, she's the best tracker in Cedar Hollow. Molly stood proud and tall. She's just a little pup. She's a baby. Chaos kept going. You remember last year? She found Comet Jr. on Christmas Eve and saved Christmas. Her nose is so good, she can smell things that haven't even happened yet. The chief looked at Julie. Julie didn't hesitate. She held out Timmy's jacket. Molly stepped forward, sniffed, paused, threw her head back and went, Baroo. Now, all y'all out there listening, I need you to go Baroo with me. That's what gets the story going. Molly took off, Chaos right behind her. Julie and the two officers followed close behind. At first, the trail was faint and cold. Molly could only smell him on the air. She slowed, thinking. She tilted her head back. He's not here, her body said, but the scent was drifting from the vendor section. Molly turned and moved, faster now, through the tents, past the crowd. Chaos zigzagged behind her. He passed a vendor that was selling elephant ears. He stopped and looked at him and said, I'll be back for one of those. So they continued to run back towards the back of the old red and white grocery store where they found little Timmy partially obscured by a bush, by a stack of old railroad ties. And he was leaning down. Molly ran over to Timmy and gave him a great big puppy kiss. Here's Molly and Timmy right here. Timmy had a stick in his hand. He was playing with some ants. His mom ran over to him, tears in her eyes. She was so glad to see Timmy. Timmy was not even aware he was lost. He was just being a boy and playing. So at that point, the police chief looked at the two pups and said, you two are heroes. You did such a great job. Let's get you back to your folks. Hop in the police car. I'm going to give you a hero escort back. So the two pups hopped in the police car and they turned on the light and sirens, and the police chief drove them back over to the train station where the rest of the crew was waiting. Now, Lucinda, standing at the train station, she heard the police siren start. She looked around and noticed that Chaos and Molly were gone. And she sunk her head a little bit. She said, oh my God, what have they gotten into? I don't know if I got enough milk bones for bail or not. So the police car kept getting closer and closer, and sure enough, it pulled up right in front of the train station. The door opened and the two pups jumped out, and Lucinda looked at him and said, what did you two get into? And the police chief spoke up and said, they're heroes. They found a little boy that was lost. So the whole crowd's gathered up again. Lucinda's telling the story. The other pups are signing autographs. People are taking their picture with Chaos and Molly and little Timmy. When it happened, you heard it off in the distance, about 3 miles. Woo, woo. The train was coming. And on that train was Jasper, the wayward hound that was finding his way home back to Cedar Hollow. And that's it. That's how it happened. You had to be there to see it. But that's how it happened. That's how two pups found little lost Timmy at the Grifton Shad Festival many years ago. And how Jasper came home to join the Rabbit Studies program at Cedar Hollow and start teaching again after having lost his way. So I thank you for listening. This was recorded live. I made some mess ups. That's all part of it. Live recordings are great. They keep me on my toes and make me think. And by the way, I didn't have any notes for the last part of it. I lost my place on my notes and I couldn't get them back. So I just told the story as I remembered it. I wrote it, so I ought to know what's in it, right? So thank you for being here. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. It's TickBite NC. There's no K because, see, in TickBite, my community's so poor we couldn't afford the K. So it's TICBITE, NC for North Carolina. And also, Beagle Book Club has their own Facebook page that is Beagle Book Club. Feel free to follow it there. Thank you for being here. I'll catch you on the next one. This has been Todd Edwards with a Beagle Book Club story.